So, therapy today was, I just got out and I told Laura about the whole situation with, the past couple weeks with my dad and just the chaos of him ending up in the hospital and the neuro going through my house and I told her everything I did to kind of keep us afloat. And she told me, see, look, you can take charge. And I'm like, I took charge because the people that usually undermine me couldn't do anything about it. She's like, no, 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 you took charge. You took charge. And she said that, I can take charge. Okay, that was my mom. Um, but she told me I can take charge and that I needed to exercise that muscle more often because oftentimes when I try to get assertive, not aggressive, but assertive, um, I get met with anger. And Laura told me that a lot of times, especially in the case of my mom and my dad, especially, that fear is a primary emotion and we flip to anger as a secondary emotion. So fear is really driving. So if you think of Inside Out, with all the emotions in their cute little faces, fear is the one that is at the console, but anger with that flaming head will elbow them aside and take over. But fear is really the driver, and anger just kind of jumps in front. And that is not my fault. Because I was raised to believe that if someone has gotten angry, I've done something bad, or I'm doing something wrong, and I've done something to deserve the anger. And no, not always. That's not always the case. And that I don't have to fight every time somebody gets angry. I could just be like, okay, whatever, and walk away and let them spit and spew and rage and all that. And, and also that, I need to look at options and take more control of my life, but I don't have to do it right now. But, that I can take charge so that is possible for me. I have to fight a lot of fear and I have to go through a lot of crap to do it, but it can be done. So, and another thing is that the way I perceive my dad, that he's this nightmarish tyrant, that's my own brain painting him that way because of how he's treated me. But really, he's just a sick old man. Now, that doesn't mean that he never did anything bad. That he's done bad things to me. He's hurt me. And that is a non-deniable, non-negotiable fact. But right now, he can't really do much to me except say things that are mean and hurtful. But he can't physically box me in a room anymore. He can't, like, corner me. When I mean box me in, I don't mean boxing, but like box me as in block me in. He can't corner me in my room anymore. He can't, like, loom over me and intimidate me with his size anymore. He can't do that. And that he does not have the power over me that my trauma wants me to believe he has. So I have to work on whittling him down to size in my mind. And another thing is that my mom likes control. And so she doesn't like to give up control. So when I do something that makes her feel like she's going to have to give up any kind of control, she flips out. And that's not my problem. That's her problem. That's not me. That's not my fault. But Laura has made it clear that I don't handle conflict very well, that it intimidates me, it scares me, and it shuts me down. And she said that's very common when it's your family members, that you just either you get angry, you fight back, or you shut down. And that is just a very normal thing, and that it doesn't mean you're weak or that you're doing anything wrong. It's just sometimes you have to charge forward and sometimes you just have to back off. But them getting angry at you is not your fault or your problem, because it's not like you're trying to cause them a problem. You just want a little something for yourself, and that's not a bad thing. Wanting more control of, like, my finances, like, there's three incomes in this house: my disability, my social security income, my dad's social security, my mom's social security. Between the three of us, we're able to pay rent and eat and stay clothed and like pay our utilities. But if any one of those incomes were to disappear, that whole house of cards will come down financially, and we would be in very real danger of either going hungry or homeless, or not being able to access medicine and stuff that we need. And like that's a very really real scary threat. And so that's what makes it kind of impossible for me to leave. But when somebody dies here, and somebody will eventually die because we all do, but that's going to happen. And it's not about mom guilting me into staying because she'll be too poor without me, because that's just a stated fact. That's not a guilt trip. That's just a fact that if I were to leave and my income went with me, mom and dad would be on the street. Very likely they'd be on the street, or not able to afford to live and to eat and also pay rent. So like they'd have to choose food or housing. Like that kind of a situation. But I try to get mom to talk to me about the resources of, it's like, hey mom, you're getting to an age where anything can happen. If you don't wake up tomorrow, what do I do? Who do I call? And she'll be like, just let Marcy take care of it. Well, when my dad got his UTI where he was throwing up, my sister was way off in Las Vegas. She couldn't help. And I'm like, well, what if Marcy's not available? I need to be able to do this. And my mom has taught me to be helpless. She's put me into a state of learned helplessness. Excuse me, my throat's dry. Instead of teaching me how to do things, she'll just be like, I'll do it. And if I'm trying to do something and I'm not doing it quick enough, she'll just take it away and do it and get it done. So, like, there are a lot of things people my age know how to do that I don't, because I can't get her to teach me. And I learn by hands on, so it's not like you just tell me. It's like I'll look up YouTube tutorials for things that I think I might need, like laundry and stuff. But, like, I feel like I'm preparing myself when I'm blindfolded and have my ears stuffed and my hands are tied. And all I can do is yell and hope somebody will answer. And that's kind of my life, and it's kind of a mess. But but Laura has emphasized that I do have power, and I just have to exercise it, and to just try to be curious and not be so hard on myself. But I have power. I have power. I have power. I have power. I'm not She-Ra, I'm He-Man. I have the power. So, it's just a matter of finding out where I can exercise it. But I have power. And I gotta remind myself of that. I have power. So that's that. Love you.